My mother-in-law, well, she's rich, and my family, we don't really come from much money. So can you imagine how I felt when my mother-in-law tried to embarrass me in front of all her family and friends by saying that I look like a maid? Well, you know what? I wasn't going to let it slide because I was sick and tired of all her abuse, so I snapped back, and I'm gonna tell you what I said. I've never been so humiliated in my life. How can I face my family? To be honest, I've never felt so badly about myself before. Have I really let go of myself that much? Maybe if my husband has a wondering eye, I should not blame him. After all, he's married to me. And I'm an embarrassment to his family, and all I wanted was to enjoy his birthday. But now I've ruined it, and everybody is so upset with me. I've turned off my phone, and I'm going to stay at work until tomorrow morning. And I don't want to see him because I know he'll be upset. I've humiliated him in front of his well-to-do family, and I just wanted to fit in and make him proud that I'm his wife. Instead, I've made a mess out of it all, and I'm hoping that the ground will just swallow me up. What happens is that my husband's whole family came into town to surprise him for his birthday. According to him, it was an ambush, and he was not expecting them at all. He did not even want them to come here because he was not ready to introduce them to me. Their arrival led to the discovery of a shocking secret, and my husband, who is the stingiest, tight-budget man, is from a rich family. For as long as I've known him, he's been broken, and I don't mean it in a mean way, I mean it in a literal way. Both of us are broke and still paying off our college student loans, and that and trying to survive with the rising food cost every day means that we live paycheck to paycheck. Sometimes disaster strikes and we have to borrow money from people. Due to that, we're in a lot of debt. We borrow money to pay the debts off, etc., and it just keeps going. We do not go to the hospital when we're sick because we simply can't afford to be sick. While we're not doing well financially, we're very happy together. We work hard together, try to schedule some days to have fun and bond, and are actively planning for the future. I understand that he cannot buy me diamond necklaces like my friends' husbands, and that's okay. As long as he loves me and he's there for me, it's the little things that we stay in love with in life. Sometimes I get home and my back is so sore that I can barely stand and cook. He'll already have it cooked every time for me, so I can just warm it up. Some days I wake up very early so that I can do all of this washing and hanging the clothes when no one else is hogging the lines. I make sure that when he wakes up, there's warm water for him to bathe and have a hot meal. What he does not know is that I lie to him about how much the heating cost. I let him take a hot bath and I take a cold one. And I pretty much am immune to the cold due to the nature of my job. Now that I've painted a picture of how our lives are, you would be surprised to learn that growing up he had it all. For some strange reason, he cut himself off from his family fortune and just decided to work as an accountant. He makes good money, but it all goes to his student loans. I asked him why he did this when they first showed up at our house unannounced. He told me he did not want to talk about it. Once was enough, and if I pushed him, I knew that he was going to shut down. Well, they showed up in town at our house, and it was just his mom and sister. They said the rest of the family was at the hotel, and they said that his birthday was very important. And he had not celebrated it with them for years. His sister Isla got the idea to come to him and celebrate with him. I could read from their facial expressions that they were surprised by our lifestyle. I thank God that they did not say anything because I was already feeling inferior. My mother-in-law said that I must be his girlfriend. He told them that he got married but did not invite them, and I just apologized and explained that we did not have the budget for a wedding. After they left, he told me that he was just going to indulge them till they left, then he would forget about them. They invited us for lunch and dinner throughout the week and showered him with gifts. He did not react in a strange way. He was thankful for all the gifting and had a good conversation with them. And then the invitation arrived. They were all going to be in town for one last day and wanted to do something for his birthday. We just had to pitch up and they would do everything for us else. He didn't want to go, but I begged him. It was his birthday after all, and I managed to get some money together and buy him a beautiful antique watch. I watched it for weeks before I could buy it, and I got myself a beautiful dress, way out of my budget, and I kept the tag in it. It's not like I'm invited to a lot of events anyways. I was happy that we were having a good birthday for him. I did not know what the tea was between them, but he was going to tell me when he was ready. When we arrived, the hall was decorated well and there was good food and music. It was something that I only had the privilege of being the help at before. I enjoyed it. I mingled with his family and friends, and I was having a very good time and having a conversation with Isla. My mother-in-law asked if she could talk to me, and I said yes. She told me that she wanted me to go upstairs with her, so I did. She told me that I had a unique dress and asked where I got it, and I told her where I've bought it from. She then pulled on the tag and checked the price, and she made what I can only describe as a pity sound. I asked her if all was okay, and she told me no. She told me that she understood that things were hard, but did I have to dress in such a way? She told me that her maid back at her house dressed better than I did. Well, she told me that people have been asking all day if I was to help her. I was dumbstruck by her comments, and my heart sank, and I realized then that I did not belong. So she carried on. She told me that I had to do better since I was the daughter-in-law of the family. She then told me that I could borrow one of Isla's dresses and not look like a helper. I felt tears streaming down my face. This was not okay. The worst part, my husband was right behind us and we did not even notice. He cleared his throat and we turned to look at him, and I saw the look of disappointment on his face. I should have never forced this party when I knew that we could not afford to look good. Now I had embraced him in front of his mom, and well, I excused myself and said that I was feeling unwell. I didn't hear what they said to each other once I left, but I can only imagine. I can imagine that she told him how embarrassing I looked, and he agreed. He warned me that we would not be able to keep up appearances, but I forced him. I really did force him to go with me. While it must have been nice for him to play pauper with me, I'm sure that he misses this lifestyle. Why would he give it all up to struggle with me? His mom said that I dress worse than her maid. Damn, I look at myself when I come back from the shop and I think I look pretty decent, but I don't have that wow factor. My dress is black with some red lace, and I thought it was classy and high fashion, and I guess we both have different definitions of that. I don't want to talk to anyone right now. I guess I have a lot of feelings about the matter, so I'll just write it out in my journal. At least I do not have to pretend to be something that I'm not. Update number 1. So, I wrote about all that happened in my journal, and then I decided to edit it and post it because I felt I was not going to be able to get any comfort from just the journal. So, it helped me a lot. It almost feels cathartic. Here's a bit more about me. I'm a chef and a co-owner of a food truck. We specialize in fast food and some unique cuisine. I love my job. It's highly demanding, however, and I work long hours because we station it in some of the busiest areas. On weekends, I work till late because a lot of people get the munchies. The money's very good, but there's a lot of expenses. We share the profits and make it all work, and if I did not have student loans, then I would be doing very, very well for myself, you know. Now, for the aftermath of what my mother-in-law said to me, there was nothing that I could do but go back down and go back home and face him. When I got home, I found a note telling me that he's gone to work, and I texted in, but none of them went through. He came back in the evening and had a discussion with me. He told me that this was why he did not want to have his birthday party. He knew that they would pick me apart. I argued that he could have warned me and they were like that, and I got into the party blind, thinking that I was being accepted when instead they were just laughing at me. He should have told me that his mother-in-law was not a nice person, and I would have been prepared. I would have dressed better. But then he told me that he did not care what his mom thought about me. He loved me the way that I was, and I did not need to fit in. He only agreed to go to the party because Isla begged him, and the truth is that his relationship with his mother was very flawed. They have not gotten along for many, many years because of how she treats people. He told me that I did not need to impress those people because he chose me. Well, he told me to forget them because they didn't matter, and how I wish that it was as easy as that. But it's not. She is my mother-in-law and she does not like me. I mean, why doesn't she like me? We argued about it for many hours and he starts to get pretty angry at me. He told me that he's done explaining the same thing to me over and over and over. And so instead he was going to have some beers with his buddy and hoped that I would get over it. I told him not to leave, but he left. And I was left feeling a bit dejected. As I was feeling that way, I suddenly get a call from Isla. I have her number, but I've never messaged her. When we were in public, we are nice to each other and we do have some small talk, but we're not that close. She told me that her brother had told her what happened between myself and her mom that night, and she wanted to hear from me exactly what happened, so I told her what happened, every single word, and I thought that she was going to apologize and let me sweep it under the rug, but she had no such plans. She told me the truth was that most people in the family could not stand her mother because of her attitude. She also told me that what she did was wrong and that she was going to make sure that she answered me. She then complimented my dress and asked if we could go shopping together sometime. I tried to decline, but she managed to pressure me, so of course I agreed. After the call with her, I felt much better, and when Ralph came back, I was in a better mood. I cooked him his favorite meal and we had a nice couple conversations, and all was said and done. The matter was over now. Well, I thought that the matter was over at least. I had no idea that I've just started a war inside the family. We were woken up in the middle of the night by a phone call. His phone was by my side of the bed and it kept on vibrating. I ignored it because I did not answer calls or text once I've fallen asleep, you know. The next morning, I found out that my mother-in-law was under a blast from the whole family. Isla had created a family group chat with all of us included. In the group, she told everyone what her mother had done, and she said that she made the new daughter-in-law uncomfortable, and she had to apologize, simple as that. My mother-in-law was defensive and said that she was just giving some constructive criticism. However, most of the people in the group expressed that she was a bully, and they've had enough of her. She needed to say sorry because she had embarrassed me and stripped me of my dignity in front of everybody, claiming to be empathetic and, well, that was all an act. It went on and on and on, and the family put her on blast, but she did not want to apologize. I decided to mute the group when I realized that it was achieving nothing. I told Isla that she could continue with the group if she wanted, but as for me, I'm out. I had so many things to deal with, and if my mother-in-law liked me or not, she said what she said. Oh well. She made me feel like dirt, and she gets away with it because she's rich. That's just how the world works, so what am I even trying to do about it? Update number 2. So, it appears what Isla did was not in vain. In the end, she gave in and she apologized. It was a relief to everybody because the drama had gone on for too long. In that time, I got closer to Isla and realized that she had a rivalry with her mother. She was the sole heir since her brother wanted none of their money. She had been in a managerial role for years now, and she worked hard and did more than anybody there. Her mother refused to acknowledge her and said that her son would change his mind and come back soon. Isla hoped that she would be able to overthrow her mother by force one day, and I asked about their father since I have not seen him. She told me that he was of no more. Shortly after, my mother-in-law showed up at my place of work, and she told me that she was so sorry for how she treated me, and she wanted to go on a little spa date. I agreed to go with her after my coworker, Josie, coaxed me, and it was a good day filled with champagne, laughter. I forgave her, and we're good now. I will not be giving her an award for the mother-in-law of the year, but hey, I mean, at least she's trying. I'll have to see how she'll behave in the future, but I think that now we're good. Update 3. I cannot believe that I trusted her and let her do this to me again. Well, this time she shot herself in the foot. I'm going to help Isla destroy her. I want her to be left with nothing. Well, in terms of work, I cannot make her lose all her money, but I can make her lose what's important to her. Her reputation. Like anyone in her position, she's obsessed with her image and power. It can all easily be taken away from her, according to Isla. All I have to do is help her. Remember that time that she and I went to the spa together? She opened up to me about the pressure of being a matriarch, and she told me that she often had a hard time with her daughter Isla. She called Isla soft because she married a man who suspects is a con artist. She said that Isla was going to be taken advantage of, was most likely her husband pushing her to be the CEO of their company. She said that she tried her hardest to be a good mother, but her daughter would always hate her. I listened with open ears and tried not to make a judgment, and what she was telling me was not the same as what Isla was telling me. When I got home, I did not discuss what we discussed with anybody else. I did not tell my husband, and I did not tell Isla. I decided that it all had nothing to do with me, and I was not going to be used as a pawn in this mother-daughter war. That was until I found out what her motive for meeting me was. She was far from sorry. In fact, she wanted to humiliate me more. This time, nobody believed me. After all, she covered all her tracks to make it look like she really had to apologize to me and actually meant it. However, she's the only person I can think of who would be capable of what happened to me. I told my co-partner about my spa day and told her that she should go there with her sister for her birthday. The place was reputable with affordable packages and for those who were on a budget. I went onto the website to get screenshots of the prices and services, and that's when I ran into the pictures. My face was not shown, but there were close-up pictures of my body before I got the treatment at the massage parlor. When I first saw them, I thought there's no way it was me, but the more I looked at it, the more I could tell that it was me. I even asked Isla, and she confirmed that it was. She asked if I wanted to expose her, and I said I did not want to confront her. I told her husband and showed him the pics, and we called her. She denied it all, saying that she was going to call them and have them take down those pictures immediately, because nobody authorized them to take them. She acted like she was my savior, and my husband believed her. I did not believe that she was truly sorry, though. I knew for certain that she just wanted to embarrass me so much that I would leave her son. Isla already told me that she wants my husband to come back and lead the company. On the other hand, my husband wants nothing to do with it. I've decided not to bring the matter up anymore. Instead, I'm going to help Isla to become the CEO of the company. Whatever she needs, I'll be there for her. As for my mother-in-law, I'm going to keep her close, as you know one should do with your enemies. Update number 4. Things have been quiet for a while, and I've not spoken to my mother-in-law since what she's done. The photos on the website of me were taken down, and my husband asked me not to confront them, even though I wanted to. In exchange for that, I finally found out why he left his family business when he had all that he ever wanted and needed. The truth is that when he was younger, they put a lot of pressure on him to run the business, and he didn't want to. He wanted to carve his own path, and when his father passed away, his mother refused to let him go to college. She said that she would get somebody to teach him all that he needed to know, but there's no way that he's going to college. He was a social person, and the pressure that she put on him made him very antisocial. He was not ready for the huge responsibility, and he got very depressed and started using bad coping mechanisms and habits. That's when his sister saw what was happening and gave him money to run away. His mother found out and thought his sister was trying to secure the position for herself, and she told him that he could come back at any time, but if he did not, she was going to cut him off. Years go by, and he did not talk to them until they showed up. He was a bit numb and was shocked that his mother was back in his life, and his heart had also softened from how it used to be, but now he could see that it was a terrible idea for her to be a part of his life, so he asked me to keep her at a distance, and he missed his family and wanted them to be a part of his life, but he was not going to accept their hand-me-downs. Update number 5. Well, as if the drama could not get worse, it's worsened. My mother-in-law really takes the cake for being a protective mother, and this time, however, she's gone too far. Now Isla has exactly what she needs to kick her out, so my mother-in-law's been trying to spend a lot of time with me lately. I've indulged her and kept her busy while Isla has been figuring out how she can take the company. A couple nights ago, my mother-in-law invited me for dinner, and she told me that she had an offer that I simply could not refuse, and Isla told me that I needed to tape it. She had feelings that she was going to catch her mother up to something. So I did exactly that. I recorded with a device inside a brooch of my clothing. As usual, we talked about her and not about me and my life. She told me that she was glad her son had such a humble wife who kept him grounded. Hoped that she had something interesting to say, and that's when she told me that she needed to bring her son back into the company. If I did that, then she would give me $2 million to expand my business. All she needed was for me to convince my son to use his shares to claim the CEO position. While his sister still had the shares as a proxy, she just needed the support of a few more shareholders, and then she would overthrow her mom. My mother-in-law told me that it would be catastrophic for the company because she felt my sister-in-law's husband was a scammer. With regard to that, he is actually not a scammer. Isla told me that her mom did not like the man because he allowed her to work. She would have rather that Isla stayed at home and my husband be the CEO. My husband, on the other hand, does not want the position. I asked Isla why her mom hated her so much, and she told me that her mother has hated her since she was born, for no reason at all. She's learned to live with it and has understood that her mom will simply never accept her. As for Isla's husband, they got married and signed a prenup, so her money's safe. Just a side note, Isla loves the company and works really hard for it, and she wants to bring it to new levels, but her mother is so stubborn to accept it, and she still wants my husband to come back and work there even at the cost of his mental health. As she spoke, I thought back to what my husband and I spoke about months ago, and I just wondered why I'd even gotten in between the mother and daughter duo. I also thought about my poor husband, who had already lost himself because of the company. He told me that if he, had to work there again, he would not survive it. He did not see himself carrying the weight of the company on his shoulders. All he wanted was a simple, happy life where he did not have to interact with pretentious people all day long. I told her that I could not accept it because Ralph did not want to come back, and I let her know that if she loved her son, then she would respect his decisions, otherwise she was going to lose him forever. She told me that I was being stupid. This was more money than I could ever hold, and I let her know that we're happy broke. Our lives were improving day by day, and I know somebody else could have jumped at the opportunity to be rich, but if what I saw of the family's world is true, then I don't want any part of it. Save for Isla, who seems to be the only good thing in that family, and I just honestly believe that her idea to transform the company into one that runs on green energy is good and innovative. Her mother just cares about the profits and not how it will affect the future generations. It is for that reason that I handed Isla the recording so that she can add to her evidence against her mother and overthrow her. Final update months later. Hey guys, it's been quite a while since I've updated. Life has been hectic, but I'll give just the new highlights of it. Isla had enough evidence against her mother to overthrow her. It was worse than I thought because she was using company funds to her own gain. In addition, she was forcing the internal auditors to cover her tracks, and the recordings also helped to prove that she was willing to bribe somebody to meet her own ends. My husband heard about what happened and how me and his sister managed to overthrow her. He was so grateful that I had not sold out and compromised his mental health. Ralph told me that he was glad that he was more important than all the money. Most people would have taken the money and manipulated him into rejoining the family company. He told me that he never let me know this, but I can tell him to do anything, and he'll do it. It's true, though. I've noticed that he'll do anything I say. But I would do the same for him. His mother's assets are frozen as she's being investigated now. She's vanished off the face of the earth, probably licking her wound somewhere, and when she found out what I did, oh boy, she was so angry. She called me, texted me, and insulted me, and I've never been so insulted in my life. I told her that she dug herself into this hole, and I wanted nothing more to do with her. I then blocked her, and so did the rest of the family. Most of them were scared of her, but now that she's gone, they spoke freely about how she often abused her powers. She has pretty much lost everything, and I think that she deserves it, to be honest. I don't really feel sorry for her. After all, she's looked down on me since the day that we've met, and that was her undoing, for she had no idea the part that I would play in her ruins. On to more of a happy topic now. My husband and I have managed to get a new apartment. The business has been booming for the both of us, and he's recently gotten some very well-paying clients and makes a bit better money now. After covering our debts, we finally had enough money to live a normal life. As for me, the food truck has been so successful that we managed to open another one. I manage one while my business partner manages the second one, and this means that there's more income for the two of us, and I know that there'll still be beginning stages of this, but we're making progress. Once we pay off our debts, we'll finally be ready to expand our family. All the blood, sweat, and tears were worth it where we're at today. We've maintained a relationship with Isla, who remains humble and kind, and she and I have become very good friends because we share similar values. She's also adjusting well to her role, and she's used to doing both her work and her mother's already, so this is nothing for her. So I guess it all works out in the end, and I'm truly happy for the first time in a long time, and I'm going to enjoy it as much as I can. First of all, let's go ahead and do a big shout out in the comment section down below for Isla. If it was not for Isla, there's absolutely no telling what OP's mother-in-law would have gone through if it wasn't for Isla, like I said. But also, I do want to know what you would have done if you were in OP's perspective and you had to handle this situation. And also, guys, if you've ever been through a mother-in-law dispute or any in-law dispute, brother, mother, sister, father, it doesn't matter. If you want to share your experience, let me know in the comment section down below. My name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate stories every single day, similar topics of drama, whether it be in-law disputes, Karen in the Wild stories, HOA dramas, cheating stories, we cover it all. Make sure to go ahead, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and just remember one thing. It's cool to be kind. See ya.